Hello, Audioholics. This is Logan, and today we are going to be doing what the fuck is this album? The Human Equation by Ayreon.
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 That's
Get
how you
it? Because
pronounce it.
it's like Aryan, but Ayreon.
Like
Anyway,
the
here's Tyler.
Aryan race. Hello, I am Ayreon himself. Yeah,
This is
good to meet you.
Ariler.
Okay, that was terrible. Now,
Yeah.
before we start, I'm going to have to go on and tell you what this album is about because it's weird. All right, so this is an album that is a rock opera. It is just a straight up rock opera with a script, a story, characters, and each character is cast and played by one vocalist from a band that you might know. So the main character, who we actually never learn the name of, he's just called Me. Me is played by James Labrie from Dream Theater. Isn't that cool? Also on the cast, we have Mikkel Ackerfeld from Opeth, another
You
big
mean
name.
J-
We
you
also have
mean J- you mean James Lardbury?
Yes, you're James Lardbury. What?
Yes.
um. So yeah, Mikkel Ackerfeld from Opeth, and we also have Devin Townsend from Strapping Young Lad, and of course the Devin Townsend Project. Bunch of other names on here too, but those are probably the biggest ones that you would probably have heard of. I think this is one of the more interesting albums that we've covered on this podcast, and I'm really excited to get into it. So let's just do that. So let's go on our little spiel. In the
Yes.
description will be a playlist where you can listen to this album with us. Use ad block so that you can sync up with us, unless you're smart, in which case you'll just use Spotify. We have some series going on. We're doing The Wrong Opinion on Riot. You can look forward to that if it isn't up already. If it is up, then we're working on the Iced Earth one next.
Is that the
If
one
it
we
isn't up,
decided on?
then
Okay.
you didn't hear that. Yes, we did. Now, if it isn't up yet, pretend you didn't hear that. It's just Riot. All right. Now, the other series we have is Rolling Drones, which hopefully we've resumed by this point when this episode comes up. I hope you're enjoying that series. We most definitely will be listening to all those amazing metal albums. I announced in the last podcast that getting into prog is going on an indefinite hiatus. If you would like to hear more about the reasons behind that, go and watch our last episode, which would be the one on Bob Dylan, probably. Oh Mercy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to say?
Eat corn.
Egg.
The
Egg.
shags.
All right. Now, would you like to count us down, Logang?
No. But I will anyway. 5, 4, 3, 2, and go to day 1. Vigil.
Vigil. All right. So, fun fact, the main composer of this album and the mastermind behind Ayreon in general, also the guitar player, I believe, Arjen Anthony Lucassen, he plays Best Friend, who is singing right now. So, for the audience who may not know what this album is about, essentially, this album is about a man who is in a coma, and he basically argues and confronts his past, his emotions in various forms, and hopefully awakes to his wife and best friend, who we are currently hearing talk to each other.
Yeah.
This is a really well written album lyrically. You'll notice like a lot of the dialogue is just, it's very, very well written. You could literally see this being a theater show. Oh, fun fact, it was a theater show. After this album was released, they actually made a theater show out of it. Of course, it's nothing magnificent. The acting is terrible because the actors that they got to play the characters were the actual actors from the album. So we have James Labrie playing the main character, Me. We have a lot of other people from the cast returning. It's really cool that they did that. It's
But like
called the
none of them
theater
can actually
equation.
none of
Act,
them can
yeah.
actually act. Yeah.
But they sing real damn well. And it basically just comes off as like a concert, but with like set pieces.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And if you like this album, I recommend checking it out. We are now on day 2 isolation at 19 seconds. This is James Labrie singing. He is playing the main character, me. Now this is Fear, played by Mikhail Ackerfeld.
The dude from Opeth.
Mm-hmm. He does a great job in this album as Fear. He really comes off as, well, exactly what you would expect Fear to come off as.
This feels like 70s prog, like almost like the stick. Like oh, that's sick. Almost like Sticks.
I could see that.
Oh
So this
my
is where the
god.
song picks up.
Yeah, this is cool.
You're going to hear a lot of different instruments being used throughout this album. It is a progressive album, but there's a lot of emphasis placed on the vocals, which kind of makes up for that.
Who is Reason?
Reason is played by Eric Clayton, who is the singer of Savior Machine.
Okay, I've never heard of them.
I sent you one of their songs a while back. I think it was called like The Crucible of Souls or something.
Okay.
You really liked it though. Really good singer.
I can definitely say, at least in this song, Reason is probably the worst vocalist.
The worst vocalist.
I don't like him.
Really? So
Passion
this
is pretty cool.
This is Passion singing. She is the sister of Floor Jansen from Nightwish. This is the hook of the song. So you'll notice like there are actually hooks on the songs of this album. There are choruses, which is unusual. This is Pride now. A guy named Magnus Ekwall sings as Pride. He's from a more obscure band, I believe. You probably won't have heard of him.
If I'm not saying too much, it's because I'm trying to read the lyrics.
Yeah, I thought that might be one thing that's kind of an issue is you have to really pay attention to the lyrics with this album. But I feel like as it goes on, we'll have more to talk about, which is going to make up for that. So right now, you'll notice like the different emotions of me, the main character played by James Labrie, is sort of talking to him. So we have Reason talking to him, pride, passion, fear. Later on, we'll hear from love and agony.
I do like this album so far.
I really love the chorus of this song. It's really catchy and it's heavy.
Yeah, the chorus is already the brightest spot in this song.
I do like Pride, but Reason is probably my favorite of the emotions. I really love Eric Clayton as Reason.
I'd say vocal wise, it would probably be Passion.
So you'll notice like yep. So you'll notice like the emotions are talking about me's character and saying stuff like you always called the shots, a heart as cold as ice. We're going to learn more about me throughout this story, and we'll learn he's not exactly an innocent person. He's not a good person, or at least he wasn't. This album and this story is very much about the development of me and understanding the error of his ways. Here.
So I guess I should clarify, I've never listened to this album before. He has.
Yeah.
And in fact, the album right after this was in his top 25 albums of 2020 list, which I highly recommend checking out.
Yep, that's where I learned of this band, and I loved the idea of telling a story and casting the characters in that story as vocalists from like different rock and metal bands. I like that idea, so I wanted to check some of Ayreon's back catalog, and from what I understand, they have a ton of people. Like Russell Allen from Symphony X has been in it, Floor Jansen has been in it. Like you name it, probably been in it at some point.
So who is Love?
Love is played by Heather Findlay. I forget what she's from. Heather Findlay. She's a British singer from the band Mostly Autumn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're ripping off Dark Side of the Moon.
Hell yeah. No, Ayreon does this weird shit a lot.
Hmm. Okay, where are the footsteps? Come on, just go all out at this point. The footsteps and the heavy breathing.
Like that? Did I do it right? Did I do it right, Daddy?
Now go to your room. I'll come in later with the whip.
Don't you just love how this album is mixed?
I do.
It's
like
mixed
really,
and mastered so well.
It is. It really sounds amazing.
Yeah, and the stereo is really well done.
It
like
is.
how it moves from left to right.
They really did rip off Dark Side of the Moon for this part, though. I just like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like immediately, I thought of that. I mean, if you're gonna rip up, I mean, to be fair though, if you're gonna rip something off that's good, like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do they always say? The great artist steals. So yeah.
What is it? Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Mm-hmm. It's a really well done solo section. You know,
I think it was Steve Jobs that said that.
The composer of this band, Arjen, he's not just a good composer, he's a really good guitar player too, and he is not afraid to show those chops off.
Yeah, so like who started this project? Was it Arjen?
Yeah, it's basically a solo project from him. He hires all of the other musicians. It's his baby. So this is about as proggy as it ever gets. Yeah, occasionally honestly, there are like instrumental breaks.
Honestly, this might come as a surprise to some people who have followed me, but that's kind of disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, because like this is really good, and I kind of wish more of the album sounded like this.
Well, I can tell you that it's a very diverse album. There are a lot of different styles presented on this album.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, that means there's something else I could learn. So I'm like, and then there's this really anthemic chorus again.
Yep. This is Pride again speaking. Magnus Ekwall is a really fantastic singer. You're going to hear a lot from Pride. I think I might be wrong about this, but I think he's the emotion who gets the most screen time. It's kind of disappointing. Devin Townsend, who plays Anger, he doesn't show up very often, just a few times. Which may be a way that the writer of this script is telling you, like, well, the main character, me, is not a very angry person, but I still wish that Anger showed up more often because Devin Townsend is a fucking legend. So we are now on Pain. This is one of my favorite songs. This is where we get introduced to Agony. And sort of in this song, Agony, as you'll see throughout the entire album, plays his role in trying to lead me into despair and giving up and eventually suicide.
Who is
Agony? And this is one of the songs. He's played by Devin Graves. Again, I think he's one of those singers who's in a lesser-known band. I do love his performance, though.
What does he do again?
He does Agony, Devin Graves.
Okay.
It probably would be easier if I just looked up the human equation personnel on like
Yeah.
Wikipedia instead of trying to remember all this. Okay, so personnel, Devin Graves. He's from a band called Dead Soul Tribe,
Okay.
which is sort of like a kind of like a progressive metal band.
Okay. He's a good vocalist.
Doubt. Yeah, so like I said, in this song, Agony's trying to convince me that he is just forever going to be
Yeah.
depressed and in pain, and he was not strong, and he's just, yeah. And this is one of the few songs where we get anger, or I'm sorry, actually, it's rage, not anger.
Okay.
Devin Townsend. I fucking love his parts in this album. So the big thing with this song is Agony and Rage are fighting back and forth. Agony is trying to convince me that he needs to be led into despair, and Rage is arguing that that's not the case. This is Devin Townsend now. I love this chorus.
So the way Tyler described this to me at first was basically a more adult melodic version of the movie Inside Out, and yeah, that's
I
basically
just
what it
love
is.
how brilliantly this is written, though, because there's
Yeah.
always that side of you that's trying to like lead you into depression, and then often when you listen to that side, you get angry at it.
Yeah, and like, like a lot of these, like I think a lot of these emotions can kind of mesh together, and I think they're kind of I think they kind of capitalize on that as well. Like, like passion and love can be the same thing. Pride and passion can even be the same thing.
Yeah, and you really get the different interplays between those emotions in this album, which is really well done.
Like
God, Devin Townsend.
people
So
who are
good.
very passionate are usually very prideful.
Now we get some shit straight out of Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
I wasn't joking.
A poor man, a beggar man, a thief.
So this is Love Again. Just listen to the lyricism. Beyond this dejection, there's beauty and grace, a glorious future we long to embrace. Emotion personified alpha. Just really, really amazing lyricism. That's one of the things I think is brilliant about this album. They take that amazing lyricism and they put it in dialogue. So you can see why I like this song so much. It's really good.
Yes.
I will admit, if there was one huge flaw with this album, it's that you can't really listen to individual tracks. There are a few that are the exception to that, and Pain is one of them. I can listen to Pain by itself, and I love it. So we are now on day 4, Mystery, at 15 seconds.
Who's best friend?
Best friend is just the best friend of me, the main
Who
character.
plays him?
Arjen.
Oh.
Anthony Lucassen, the composer.
Okay.
So in this song,
like
they sort of
surprisingly
establish. Yeah, right. They sort of like establish in this song, how did me get into an accident in the first place? We don't know.
And then who's his wife?
Wife is played by.
Is this the wife of the best friend or the friend or the wife of me?
Wife of me. So wife is played by Markella Bovio from Elphonia,
Okay.
which is a very experimental band. I love her performance. This is another one of those songs that I love.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
You'll
like
really
my
get
favorite.
that at the ending.
This is my favorite song so far already. And again, I really like the use of synth. Like I've been getting
Mm-hmm.
into a lot of like different synth based things lately.
Yeah, I love synths.
Yeah,
I think they can be
especially like kind of
used to. I'm sorry, go on.
I was gonna say like especially like old timey kind of 70s sounding synth like this. Like it kind of sounds like something out of again Pink Floyd, Kansas,
Yeah.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think synths can be used to great effect, but they can also be very detrimental. Like they can make it something sound very silly. Think like the final countdown or something like that. But I think the synths in this album are used to great emotional effect, I think. It doesn't
I
make anything
agree.
sound silly. It adds to the
Yeah,
impact of things.
I mean synths are not always good, but in this case, I think they are.
Yeah, so the chorus of this song, do you think he's seen it? I don't think he did. Do you think he knows it? I don't think he knows. Do you think he's been there? I don't think he was. Do you think he'll die? I don't think he will. Sort of hinting at something that might have happened. I don't know if anybody's picking up on that, but pay attention. It's kind of important. I love,
Oh, now
like,
this is real Emerson, Lake and Palmer right here
yeah.
with
And
like
again,
that.
like, compare this to the last song. It sounds completely fucking different.
Like, here's the thing: if this came out in like 1974, this would have been the biggest album of all time.
Probably would have been heralded as one of the best.
Yeah. If it had come out in like 1974 and had like the 1974 equivalents of, like Patti Smith could have been Passion, um, Ian Anderson could have been Somebody, Roger Waters might have taken part. I don't know. I'm just I'm just like I'm not trying to predict the past in an alternate universe where this happened. I'm just saying. The mystery be with.
I love the last part of this song.
Yeah.
So now we get the same chorus, but instead of wife and best friend, it's passion and me.
Yeah.
You'll get that.
Well, a bunch of different ones. Passion, pride, love, then agony.
Yeah, but in this song specifically, it's wife and best friend for the whole song, and then at the very end, the last chorus, passion and me
Yeah.
sing the chorus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pride is there. Never mind. Passion, pride, and me. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're about to.
Yeah. This is definitely the best song on the record.
I'm just gonna shut up for this part.
And that, my friends, is the closest thing we will ever see to a good performance by James LaBrie post 1998.
Right? So we are on day 5 now. Voices. And in this song, me hears best friend and wife's like dialogue from the last song, and he's talking about it with pride and reason and love and fear and the rest of the emotions. again, like there's just a lot of diversity in soundscapes on this album. Like this sounds completely fucking different from like the synth laden shit that we were hearing on the last song.
Yeah.
And that's that in turn sounds completely different from like the heavy metal shit that we heard on the song before.
Yeah.
But it all sounds natural, like it came from the same album.
I kind of love this album, actually.
It's really, really, really awesome.
I kind of love this. Like, if this continues as consistently good as it has been, I mean, not only would I listen to it again, it's possible I could put this on one of my favorite albums list.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like
on mine.
just the
I think.
instrumental list, just like that, just like the instrumentals.
Mm-hmm. And remember, Pride is being played by Magnus Ekwall from The Quill, which is a stoner band like Sleep.
Ah, we only heard like Fear once throughout this entire album so far.
Yeah, Mikkel Ackerfeld and Devin Townsend are not as prominent as I would personally wish they were, but I mean, that probably has something to do with the fact that they're in pretty big bands. And it was probably difficult to get James Labrie to do as much as he did and also pay for Mikkel Ackerfeld and Devin Townsend, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, what they're talking about here is the idea that me could have tried to commit suicide, and Pride is saying, no, that's not possible. You're way too strong. It couldn't happen to you.
Yeah.
But remember, like, earlier, Agony said, no, you're not strong at all. And so we see this, like, argument going on in his head. He doesn't know why he's there. He doesn't know what happened yet.
This album's concept, especially, is just genius. Wait, Reason? I don't remember. Have we seen that before?
Reason? Yeah.
Who was
Reason
that?
is played by Eric Clayton from Savior
Oh,
Machine.
right, yeah.
He's the guy you said you didn't like.
Oh, yeah, right. It sounds like he's trying to do a Peter Steele impression, but failing miserably. A Pete Steele impression, I mean.
Yeah, it's sort of that same style of singing.
Yeah.
And he's in a gothic metal band, so he was definitely influenced by Peter Steele.
So one thing I have to say about this record, Love is Love.
Yeah, Heather Findlay is an amazing singer.
Yes.
I have not actually checked out her band, Mostly Autumn, but I definitely need to. From what I understand, like she's generally compared to bands like Jethro Tull and like
I would check that out in a heartbeat if that's true.
See, now Fear is saying that it's completely possible that he attempted suicide. You fool yourself. You rose so high. You were bound to fall. He's saying Pride's wrong. You're an arrogant fuck. You probably tried to kill yourself. Because that's something Me's probably afraid of at this point, that it's true that he tried to kill himself. That's why Fear is here. I just love how well written that is. I can't say that enough.
So it's like, what if one of these emotions was killed off? Would if Fear was killed off, would he just become like a sociopath?
I don't know.
Like Pride would just take over if Fear was killed off?
I would assume that's how it works. Because, like I said earlier, Wrath or Rage, I think his name is, isn't a very prominent emotion in the play. And that's to say that Me isn't a very wrathful person. He's not somebody full of rage. Meanwhile, pride and agony are two very prominent emotions. That is to say, he's probably an arrogant person and also a person full of pain. Which, we'll see. We'll learn about his past. I love Pride. He's such a good singer.
Yeah. Honestly, this is like one of the best performances James LaBrie has done in a long time.
I know. There are a lot of Dream Theater fans who say his performance on this album is just straight up the best thing he's ever done, period.
I can understand
I could see that,
I can
personally.
see that, yeah. See what I mean with like the 70s prog vibe? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's not like wanky,
yeah, like, yeah, this is like more Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Kansas type prog, not like
So
I
we
guess
are
there's
now
like a
on
bit of
day
Genesis
6,
in there as
childhood,
well. But
at
yeah,
10 seconds.
childhood.
Yep. So this is where we kind of learn about what it was like for me as a kid. But no, you're definitely right.
Okay, I'm done calling him me. I'm just gonna call him James LaBrie because
Okay.
like me is a stupid name.
They just never wanted you to know his real name. That's
Yeah,
something the composer said they intentionally
yeah.
did, is never reveal his name.
I am going to call him Buttfuck McGinty.
Yes. Let's call him Holy Craposaurus. And I love this song too, by the way.
Yeah.
Here comes back Fear. Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically his
easily.
father was abusive.
Yeah, easily. Fear is the best vocalist on this entire record.
I know, right? I
Yeah,
love Mikhail so much.
yeah. And this is so honestly like I was kind of hoping. I think the only bad thing about this album is it really isn't giving me much to talk about. I can just like it's such a good record, but it's consistently good for the same reason, and the reason is it's constantly changing, it's constantly fresh, it's constantly relevant. The writing is constantly really good, and it just doesn't leave much to talk about yet.
Yeah, I feel like as the record goes on, there's a little bit more to talk about because there's more layers to the story
Yeah.
that get added in. Like right now, like I said, this song kind of introduces the idea that his father
Yeah.
was abusive, and
Yeah.
like me always has that in the back of his head, how his father treated him, and that's a complex he deals with his whole
Yeah.
life. Me ends up being a very deep character by the end
Yeah.
of the story.
That's true.
Well developed.
We are only on the sixth track. There's
Yeah,
20
keep
of
in
them.
mind there's 14 more.
Yeah. So that's true.
Then
So there's definitely a lot more on this album to explore.
There is like, excuse me, there is a part of the album where I would say it kind of slows down and slumps a little bit. Particularly, I'd say like not this song or the next one, but like the three or four after that. No, maybe just the three after that. I'd say is kind of like a low point of the album for me.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like focuses on his childhood. And I mean, it's relevant to the story, but musically, I just don't take much from it. Yeah, listen to this part.
I should. I don't know. I wonder if Brooke would like this.
I have no idea. Brooke is
Honestly,
such a weird, like she's so unpredictable
yeah.
with
I
her
don't know.
tastes.
I think I'm starting a little bit to get her into some of my music. Like I got her into. We listened to. I don't know if I mentioned this whenever we did. We must have because I'm pretty sure it happened after. Um, the when I listened to the Blue Oyster Cult album for the first time, I was at her place. Which, by the way, anybody who's noticing a change in scenery, that's because I'm living at her place for the next few weeks. Um, and I listened to it with her, and she really, really liked it.
By the way, that's a really important line there. How could you learn to care when nobody cares for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Honestly,
this
like that's
song is
like
one of the
that's
low
yeah.
points for me.
Hope.
Yeah, because it's just about best friend like saying, "Oh, remember all these fun times we had?
Yeah.
You should come back to us." And I guess it adds like a layer of depth to
Yeah,
best
I
friend's
think that
character, but meh.
yeah, I think it's important to keep this part here for sure. Um honestly, like that last song was so haunting because like it like just reminds me of like this one abuse case in a town that I grew up in. I wasn't present when the story broke, but I definitely heard about it. Tyler knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into more detail than that because one, the victims don't deserve even the slight bit of recognition I'd give them, and two, kind of give away where we live.
Yeah. I do like that it kind of puts into perspective best friend's relationship with me
Yeah,
because that does become kind of important later.
yeah.
I will tell you, you're going to fucking hate the ending of this album.
Like musically or just stories wise? Story wise.
Story wise.
Oh. I kind of like this song. I mean, like maybe it's not as um musically excellent as everything else on the record, but I still think it holds its own.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
don't think
not
it's
bad or
awful.
anything.
It's not awful.
It's just one of those points in the album I'm like, I'm kind of feeling like I could skip this.
I don't know.
The ending of this song is really good, though.
This is like one of those albums I could not listen to on vinyl.
Really? Why is
because,
that?
because like everything flows together so well, and it would not flow as well if I had to constantly keep like flipping the record and changing the record.
That's a good point. Yeah, because this is a long album. It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah, this would
And so
definitely
you would
take up.
imagine it'd be like 4 discs,
It would, yeah,
4 records.
yeah, like at least two records, two, three.
So we are now on School.
Ski.
School. So Fear is in this song also, which is awesome. Cool. Also, Rage is in it. And I love Rage.
Fuck Rage.
Did I tell
Fear.
you I love Rage?
Would you say you have a raging hard on?
For Rage, yes. This song I really relate to. I was bullied a lot when I was in
Yeah.
elementary school, like relentlessly.
Clearly not
It was
enough.
bad.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, Tyler's my friend. I wouldn't wish that. Yeah.
Just listen to this. Fuck yes.
Are both of those rage? Did he just like dub his voice so that it's like clean and
Harsh, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that's clever.
And for the record, there are more harsh vocals on this album. We'll get it more
Yeah.
later from Fear. You know, obviously he's
It
from
works.
Opeth, a death metal band. So we're going to hear it a little bit, but. So I think the important takeaway from this song is that because he was bullied relentlessly, he had to fight
Yeah.
back. And so he learned to like essentially treat everyone like ants. He learned to be the bully.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that he was going to prevent
Yeah.
being bullied. Rage and pride took over.
Yeah.
And remember, this also has to do with the fact that his father abuses him and treats him like a loser all the time.
Yeah.
So in the back of his head, he's being bullied at home. He's being bullied at school. The only place that he can take control is at school.
Oh my holy orchestra, Batman.
Yep. This part is good.
Can Reason just die?
I love Reason.
He's so off key though.
That's on purpose, because in this part, Pride and Reason are arguing.
But he's always out.
See that kid? Wipe the smile off his face. He's just like you, feeling out of place. Let's show him who's boss. That's not the way to get our message across. I love that. Like that inner struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Reason. You better learn to communicate. Who knows how to communicate these days?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really like how this song develops musically.
Yeah.
So it's really the next song I'm not a huge fan of.
I would totally buy this on CD at least.
Yeah, memories.
Like even though it would still be like 2 discs long, I think it would still work well enough.
Yeah, and also I can't say this enough. The theater version of this is really fucking good. They have
Really?
so you would think that some of this is backtracked. None of it is. They have guitar
Wow.
players, flute players, woodwind players, like the whole 9 yards. Synth, keyboard players, all in the background where like an orchestra would normally be.
So this is
And then
day
there's
9.
like a scene and your singers. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we're
this
on
is,
day 9 playground.
This is an instrumental.
Yes,
I can tell because the only word
is
is instrumental. I've been looking at lyrics this whole time, by the way.
So, okay, this is a good time to point out that each emotion has their own sort of sound and mode. Each time they talk, the instrumentals change for them alone.
Yeah,
and in
that's
this
true.
song, the instrumentals actually surge with pride and passion partway through, which is really interesting. So you have no dialogue, but you can still portray the presence of these characters, which is really, really cool the way they do that.
I definitely need to listen to this album again. I might even just listen to it with Brooke. because I don't know how she would feel about it, especially because of its length. But
Maybe you should like uh maybe you really should look into the theater version of it then.
is it shorter?
No, it's the same length, but it's like visual as well as audio. It's the album, but it's a performance of it.
Okay.
It is
Are they
live, so
all
you'll
like?
sacrifice
So are
some
they
of it,
all
but
like? So is it all like in costume or?
yeah. Yeah, all the characters are wearing different costumes. They also change a few things. Like
This
there's a new
sounds.
character named Doctor who gets introduced, but he just
This
repeats lines from the album.
yeah. This kind of reminds me almost like Celtic, like traditional Celtic sound.
You'll you'll hear that exact sound later on a song called Loser.
Okay. I don't
That's
know if
the
that's what they
most
were going
popular
for.
Ayreon song.
Probably not, but
Kind of.
really. Are we on day 10 now?
We are now on day 10. This is my least favorite song on the album, but thank
Memories.
God it's only 4 minutes long.
So I take it your least favorite songs are the ones with best friend and wife.
Not across the board, but yes. My
Okay.
favorite songs are the ones where the emotions are chaotic and they're all arguing, and yeah, those are the coolest moments of the album, in my opinion.
I would say about that too. I honestly could not tell you my favorite song. They're all I like. All the songs are either really good or pretty good so far,
The
anyway.
cool thing The cool thing with this song, though, is that when Best Friend sings, pride actually accompanies his voice, and similarly, when wife sings, love accompanies her voice, because those are the emotions associated with those people for me.
Hmm.
That's a really cool touch. And also, this song is basically just, oh, you remember when we did this? Yeah, I remember. That's the whole song. This could have been deleted. This did not need to be here.
Yeah, yeah. So you know how I was saying a moment ago that everything was either really good or pretty good. There is now one giant exception to that rule. That this song could like not exist and we would be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I
you
guess
can't.
it does add a little bit more depth to the relationships
I mean,
between
yeah,
wife and
fair, but
me and
like, how
whatever,
do you
but me.
take? How are you now supposed to take a song seriously when like alone at last, naked by the fire?
Yeah, they're telling a funny story about how one time wife and me were trying to have sex and then the friends in the party rushed in while they were getting it on.
I mean, I'm sure it was funny for them. I don't think I needed to hear that. I mean, I guess I see what they were trying to do. This is like, because there's been a lot of depressing shit all throughout this album so far. So I think what they were trying to do, like artistically, is sort of like lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
I just don't think it worked.
No, I think the next song does that fine.
Okay.
The next song is Love, and
Love.
it's about
Yeah.
how wife and me met and fell in love. And I think it's really really good because it has different layers. I'll get to when we get to that song, but
Wait, okay, so immediately I have a question.
what's up?
So the first line is Friday night I had a few, implying I assume a few too many drinks or a few drinks. But
Yeah,
like the wife earlier in the last song was implying that they'd known each other ever since they were young kids because he saw her. But this is when they met, right? So when did they meet? Have they known each other since they were
Um,
children, or did they
no,
meet?
no, no. I
Okay,
think you misinterpreted that. Best friend and me have known each other since they were kids, I think, but not wife.
but yeah, but like wife is sharing in a memory with best friend.
Oh
Is it just
yeah,
because like me told her about it, or best friend told her about it, or
I guess.
I don't know.
What part are you talking about?
Like they were like in the last song. I assume
Oh,
are we on
we are
love?
now on Love, by the way, at 38 seconds.
Yeah, on the last song, they were like both best friend and wife were reminiscing on childhood memories, implying that wife has been there since childhood. But this song, Love, implies that he met her when they were both a little bit older, at least like late teens, early 20s, something like that.
Oh, I didn't interpret the last song as childhood memories, but I don't know, maybe. I thought it was more just like memories with the three of them after they got married and whatever else. But either way, plot hole or no, this song.
This song is much
So
better.
he met wife at a party, and like he has this lingering fear that he's going to become like his dad and he's going to treat her like shit,
I wonder
basically.
who has like writing credits on these songs. Do they all have writing credits, or is it just the one person who wrote everything?
It's all written by Arjen.
Okay. Yeah, so they are basically just actors at that point then.
Yeah, so passion, love, and pride are trying to convince him to make a move. Now fear is saying, remember your father, you're just like him. Or agony is saying that, not fear.
Yeah.
Now we have fear.
Oh my god, that vocal effect is such hot sex. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite albums of all time.
It's so good. I love
I
it.
mean, we're only on the ninth song, so we're not even like halfway through
11.
yet. I don't think. Oh, 11? Oh, okay. So we're a little
Yep.
bit over halfway through. So, like, I think my biggest fear still is that this might, and honestly, I think it still is. I can immediately think of, point to at least one song they could have cut.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think there's a possibility that they just added it in because they wanted it to be 20 days instead of 19 days, which
I
might make
guess.
sense.
Still, you could have, like, I don't
Done
know.
something better.
I don't know, like, talk about a Sweet 16 or something. I don't know. Just something other than that. Talk about one time
Remember
he
your
went to Dunkin'
father,
Donuts.
well, you're just
Just
like
talk about
him.
one time he went to
Nothing
Dunkin'
but
Donuts and got a cup of
violence and
coffee. I don't
fury
care.
within. Your mother, so lonely and sad. This will be her fate if you treat her as bad. That line right there.
Yeah, that's the chorus.
I love this song so much. It's like this giant chorale.
Yes.
Yeah, so remember the reason I pointed out that line though, day 12, trauma.
Trauma. Oh, here's off keys and no, you know what? It's not even that he's off key. It's that he's so his voice is so corny.
Well, you'll be happy to know that he's not replaced in the theater version. He reprises his role.
Okay.
Oh, here's Fear.
Honestly, though, so here's a problem I have with like all musicals. It's that like there's not really much of a reason to ever have them for the most part because the album, like for example, Grease is a good example.
Yeah,
Grease as a movie, I think, is absolutely terrible.
I agree.
But the soundtrack, and at least certain parts of the soundtrack, are really good. And even parts I don't think are good, I think are objectively good. Like Summer Loving, that's a decent pop song objectively. I
Yeah,
don't like it, but it's good objectively. It didn't need to be in a movie. No part of that needed to be a movie. It could have just been a soundtrack and it would have sold just as well
I agree to
and would have
that.
been just as easily remembered.
Yeah, but that's why I like that this is an album first and
Yeah,
foremost, you know?
I agree. Now there are exceptions to that. I'd say Fiddler on the Roof is an exception because it's a musical, but it does have a pretty good story. And a lot of Disney musicals also follow, like Disney movies, most of them are musicals. At least most of the animated family ones. But they are movies first. They aren't necessarily meant to sell a soundtrack. Well, the later ones did. That's why I don't like movies like Hercules and Tarzan and things like that because the story sucked and they were basically just made to sell a soundtrack and be played on the radio.
Yeah, you're right. I think Disney's just
Oh, I thought
I
I thought I would trigger you with the Tarzan one, but okay.
I mean, like the thing with Disney is that like okay, so the problem with musicals in a lot of cases is that it's really hard to suspend your disbelief when you're watching it. Like there's something really
Yeah.
serious going on and then all of a sudden they just break out in song.
Exactly.
But it's easier to
Exactly.
believe that when it's a bunch of dancing lions, you know?
As opposed to like Fiddler on the Roof, I think kind of keeps
Oh, by the way,
its
pay attention
priorities
to
in
this
check.
part.
Where
This
are
is
we now? I
where
lost my place.
Reason, now she's at rest.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm here.
So you kind of get what happened?
I'm. Yeah, I was too busy talking. I wasn't really reading. I'm sorry.
Yo, you're good. It's a podcast. We're supposed to talk.
Yeah.
But
What happened?
so this entire
His
song
mother
has been
died?
building up to the fact that yeah, Me's mother kills herself when he was a kid. His father left and then his mother killed herself later. And he feels like it's his fault because he wasn't there for her when she needed it. And that's why he was so terrified in the last song of
Yeah.
treating wife the same way because he's afraid what happened to his mother would happen to her. Here's Fear. This is one of my favorite parts of the album. It's so dark, sinister. I fucking love it.
So here's how I think the album is going to end. I think he's gonna die. Which is definitely a sad ending, but one I can kind of comprehend. Oh, this is really good. Forget what I've been through.
I love it.
Me too.
You hear his voice cold and merciless, of course, talking about his father.
Yeah, this is like really powerful. I'm sorry for the dead air.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to say anything either, just because
Yeah.
that part is just, like you said, very powerful. And see, now Pride is trying to justify it by saying that, after all you've been through, you can finally escape what happened to you because she's killed herself. You can move on now. It's really fucked up, but that's.
Yeah. Yeah,
It may
I
be
mean
hard not to
emotions
feel like that.
yeah, and like emotions reacting on their own would obviously be if we're personifying emotion, it would probably be left at its most extreme.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair. I'm just going to pretend that one half of this conversation exists.
I just don't want to talk through this part. This song is one of my favorites because just imagine being in Mia's position. Imagine
Yeah.
being relentlessly abused and insulted by your father your entire life, and then having the same treatment been done to you at school, then having to become the bully to survive there, and then having your mother commit suicide later because your father left. Like, just imagine what something like that does to a person.
I could not even begin to do that.
So we are now on.
Day 13, a sign.
Well, not quite. The song isn't
Oh,
quite over yet.
oh,
It's gonna fade out.
baby, baby, baby.
Yeah, so that officially marked. I think Trauma marks the end of the first act.
Okay.
I think I might be wrong, but I think that's the one that marks the end of the first act.
So is that how it would work on a CD? You would just have two CDs, two acts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's. It might be my favorite song on the album.
It might be. I could not even begin to tell you my favorite song. And there's still seven more to go. So, I mean,
I know, right? So now we're on Sign, and I mean, this song is kind of self-explanatory, but
sign, sign, everywhere a sign.
Signs was a great movie.
No, it wasn't.
It was so. I'll defend that movie to the end of my days.
What, the aliens that come to Earth and can't survive with water or
It makes perfect
open
sense that
doors?
aliens could potentially not survive with water because just because
Then
us
why would you invade Earth?
species on Earth, well, what if they didn't know that they couldn't handle
Then
water? What
they're
if they've never
stupid.
encountered water
Then
before?
they're stupid.
How does that make them stupid?
Like, I feel like you should investigate a planet before invading it. Like, even in our most, like, we invaded Iraq, even in our most bungholiest moments. You don't think we investigated Iraq before doing that?
Well, that's what the aliens were. They were investigating, and then when they noticed that the water hurt them, they left. I love that movie.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
care what
like
anyone
send a fucking
says.
rover or something. If you have the ability to travel to another planet, you have the ability to like put a rover on there and figure out ways.
They're arrogant. They're arrogant aliens.
Okay. So yeah, they're stupid. They're like they're kind of like the Alabama redneck aliens, basically.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
I mean, to be fair, like all these UFO sightings are in the middle of bumfuck Alabama, so I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
aliens are not as smart as we give them credit for. They just accidentally came here.
Or maybe they're too smart. They only show themselves to rednecks who nobody will ever believe.
That reminds me of like The Simpsons, where like the one alien throws rum on Homer. Like, what is this? Rum, so nobody will believe your story. The Simpsons is amazing. Tyler doesn't like it though. Ooh,
I like
boo, boo, Tyler, run for mayor somewhere else.
I like clips, okay? I just don't
I
like the
like the
show.
clips. I just don't like the show, even though it's fucking amazing. You need to give it a watch, but like not the modern episodes. I will defend to the grave the modern episodes. They aren't the way to start out though.
So you'll defend them like I'll defend science.
Yes.
Except one of those things is terrible and the other one is good. The Simpsons is the one that's bad, if you couldn't tell.
I'm sorry. I was just waiting for the audience to laugh on that one.
We don't have an audience.
Oh yeah.
But if there was an audience, they would be in stitches, motherfucker.
How can you be in stitches if you don't exist?
What?
How can you be in stitches if you don't already exist?
You just fucked my mind, dude. You blew my mind. I don't even know. Like my entire worldview has been questioned.
I'm sorry, I missed this entire song. What happened?
Oh. It's kind of just establishing that like after revisiting the memories of his childhood and what he went through, he realized that he did end up treating his wife kind of like how his father treated his mother, ignoring her, neglecting her, you know, always being gone. And me is saying, I'm so ashamed for my behavior. I wish I could go back and mend my ways. Is it too late? And they see a teardrop trickling down his cheek and also his fist clenching, which are signs that he's still alive in there, you know? So that's what happened. All right, and now we are on Pride, which is another one of my favorite songs.
Pride in the name of love.
I love this one because
Well,
basically Pride is, well, yeah, but it's another one of those emotions arguing with each other songs, which, you know, very close to my heart.
So you said the other album is also really good, not as good as this though.
Yeah.
Are they
It
like
does not have even a tenth of the depth of this story, but it's still pretty good.
they're different actors, right?
Yes.
On every album.
Yeah, I know there are some people who come back multiple times, but for most of people,
Okay.
most of them don't. Like I know Floor Jansen's sister has been multiple times. The main character from the next album, Transitus, has been a few times.
What, James LeBrie?
No,
He's
a guy
done like
named
a couple albums.
Tommy.
Oh.
The main character for the next album, I mean, not this one.
Oh, okay.
So in this song, we learn that Me went on to be a businessman and a cold and heartless one at that. So you remember he learned to be a
Yeah.
bully in his childhood memories, and he continues to be a bully in his adult life as a businessman. Hey, Jethro Tull's back.
Yeah. Hi, Jethro.
Hi,
Yeah.
Mr. Tull.
I miss you,
Did I ever
Tull.
tell you that Tony Iommi was officially a part of Jethro Tull for a little bit of time?
That's true. I actually saw that in like a Razor Fist video, but yeah, I knew that.
I just imagine if Tony Iommi had played on Aqualung.
Honestly,
Oh,
I don't think it would have been as good, but still. I love Tony
honestly,
Iommi,
I
but
think
I
it
don't
would have
know
been
about that
better.
kind of music. I love Tony
I feel like
Iommi.
Tony Iommi could totally do it.
I don't know.
He's a technically really good guitar player, so he
I
could.
don't know.
I
I
think he
feel
could
like it
do
would
it.
have been too heavy for its own good.
Maybe you're right.
Like he never recorded anything with them, did he?
No, I don't think so. He was just a touring musician.
Okay.
By the way, there's like a band that he talks about a lot in a book called The Shadows. Have you ever heard of them?
Actually, no.
Okay. Well, I thought of all people you might know who they were, but
No. This might actually be my favorite song just because it's so instrumentally good.
so it
Like
was
that
a
riff
band
is
from the
really
early
good.
60s
Hmm.
called The Shadows. And
What was their hit? Because I'm
I
guessing they
don't
only
know.
had one.
Probably. Tony Iommi was apparently really into them though.
Hmm. Maybe they were like bigger in the UK.
A a Patch, Summer Holiday, The Young Ones, Wonderful Land, Sleepwalk.
Um,
Any of that sound
Sleepwalk?
familiar?
Sleepwalk, maybe? I don't know if it's the same song I'm thinking of, though.
It's got 3 million views.
There's an instrumental
Apparently,
called
they're pretty popular.
Sleepwalk I really liked from like the late 50s, but I don't know if that's it.
I don't know.
I'll give it a listen. I don't think it's the same band. Maybe they did a cover of that one song. That would not surprise me,
Maybe. Covers were pretty common at that time.
especially at that time. I mean, hell, half the Beatles' discography around that time was covers.
Now we are on day 15, Betrayal,
You
at
are
18
what you
seconds.
choose.
So this is a really like short and sweet song, but it's still 5 minutes long because
You know, it
prog.
is kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting that I've only heard one time when the death metal vocalist of Opeth has actually done death metal vocals.
Yeah,
It's
he
actually
only
mostly
did it
been like
once
Devin.
earlier, and I think he does it a little bit later.
Like there's a couple times where Devin Townsend does it.
Yeah. I can't fucking wait until we get to Loser. Oh, it's the next song. Yes. Yes.
Is that your favorite?
No, my favorite's probably Trauma, but Loser's up there.
Okay.
Loser is basically a song from the perspective of Me's father. Me's father is just like relentlessly abusing and insulting him the whole song. And at the very end, Rage comes out, whips him a new one. Yeah.
Who plays his
Oh,
father?
actually, wait, maybe not. I think it might be somebody else who does.
Oh.
Let me look it up.
I was gonna say, like, that would be good if they found like an asshole who was just as much of an asshole as this dude's father. I hope it's Axl Rose.
It's Mike Baker from Shadow Gallery.
I've never heard of him.
Originally under the name Sorcerer.
I've also never heard of that.
Oh God, his vocals.
Yes. Mwah.
So in case you weren't like reading along, in this song, it's revealed that me basically betrays his best friend and gets him fired and ends his career by um like what did he do again? He digs up like a lot of evidence about the time that best friend tampered with some books and gets him fired by revealing that. And this was because it was either him or best friend who was up for a promotion. So he basically sabotaged his best friend's career for a promotion. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this is the type of person me is. He's a type of person who is emotionally abusive to his wife,
Yeah, like there's
ignores
a
her, neglects her, and sabotages his best
yeah,
friend.
like so far I would not be advocating, like honestly, like he's a very, he's not lionized, he's not vilified necessarily. I would say like whether he lived or died at the end of the at the end of the album, I could accept that, like from a
Yeah, I
narrative
think the thing
perspective.
is, like, I like how they bring up his past, though, because now these behaviors make sense, don't they?
Yeah,
When you think about what he's been through and
yeah,
how he treats his friends and his family as a result of that, makes sense. But of course, like I said, this is an album about character development. So throughout this entire story, he's been changing and realizing the error of his ways. And we're going to see that realized
yeah.
later. Oh, we're close to my favorite part of the album.
This is your favorite part now?
I don't know, man.
It's so good.
No, but like the end of the next song is possibly my favorite part of the album. Even though Trauma might be my favorite song, that might be
Uh,
my favorite part. Like the very end of
oh, it
it
does
when
look like
Rage
there's
comes out.
another. It does look like, yeah, there's another person who plays the father.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
the
Mike
dude from
Baker guy I was
Shadowgate
talking about. Yeah.
or
Shadow
Shadow
Gallery.
Gallery.
See, that's what I was talking about. See, that's me understanding that what he did was wrong
Yeah,
and he's feeling guilty about it. Okay, so now we're on Loser. Listen to the didgeridoos.
didgeridoo me.
Didgeridoo me, daddy.
That that's inappropriate.
So this is the song that like really has Celtic influence, and I think on purpose because his father was a drunk. And when you think of drunk people, you think of Ireland usually, right?
I'm sorry. This just sounds like if he's about to abuse someone, this music is way too goofy.
I know, right? That's what's amazing about this song. It's just, I love it.
Like like this seems less abuse and more the score of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Which, to be fair, if it done in real life, would be very abusive. But still,
Very abusive to who?
Elmer Fudd for one.
Well, you know, Elmer Fudd's been abused for a long, long time.
Is that
I think he's
lore?
used to it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess. Oh, if they're used to it, then it's okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about abuse juxtaposed to pirate music.
Loser.
Sugar.
This song is just so gleefully insane. I love it.
I don't know how I feel about this.
This is their most popular song, by the way.
Okay. No, I mean, no, I'm all for like cheerful. I'm all for like depressing. Um, I'm all for depressing subject matter being juxtaposed to happy music. I mean, like so many songs, "Pumped Up Kicks," "Jump" by Van Halen, are like that. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're trying to make abuse a joke. It's just like I don't know if this stylistically works the way they might have wanted it to.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you could easily make an argument that it doesn't, especially considering this part. But I think it works because it has that sort of like they're trying to portray an abusive drunk, and the
Oh my
music kind
god.
of fits for that.
Just so you know, in the lyric sheet, when you go down, never, 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 never is the only part that's in all caps throughout this entire thing. That must mean he
Yeah,
means it.
that's where Rage comes out and tells his father to go fuck himself. That's my favorite part. I love it.
Also, I could have done without the didgeridoo, but
The didgeridoo, I love it. I love
didgeridoo,
everything about this
didgeridoo.
song. Didgeridoo.
I've heard it pronounced both ways. At least it's not Basil. Was that
Hey,
on
look,
this
I got an eye
podcast
patch.
or?
No, I think that was on the last one. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I'm
But
blind.
you won't hear me moan.
I should get an eye patch and just like wear it the entire day, just to be fun. I mean, I wasn't using that eye anyway.
That
Just
would
like
be so fun.
I wasn't using
This,
this eye
yeah,
anyway.
this part.
You're killing it from afar. Go
Go tell it in a
in the
bar.
bar. You're killing it from afar, my father.
Yeah, it's basically him saying, go fuck yourself.
Day
I love
17
that part so much.
accident. Okay, so
Devin
how did it?
Townsend screams in that part.
Yes, that is really impressive. So is this like how we find out how he died,
Or you mean
might
how he
have
got in a
died,
car accident?
or how he might have died? Oh, it was a car accident. Okay.
Yeah, so he got in a car accident and that's how he went in a coma.
Was that already revealed, or did you just spoil it?
No, that was revealed already.
Okay.
So you remember when I told you to pay attention to how best friend and wife were talking to each other earlier?
Yeah.
That's kind of relevant here. This is where it's revealed why he got into a car accident. Was it suicide? Was it an accident? What happened?
Remember, kids, if you're going to commit suicide, do it in a way that is at least 98% foolproof. That's good
You know,
advice for the
I'd say at
future.
least no. That's not good advice. At least 98.7564.
Yeah. Repeating.
Oh, by the way, here's your favorite guy.
Yes. This is like I'd say the best part of his role because this is like the one part where the Pete Steele plagiarism kind of works. Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh,
Goosebumps.
fucking agony. Always being a dick. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think this is
you
like the
understand?
one. This is the one song where I think Reason really, really works vocally. I could not imagine anybody else doing that except the actual Pete Steele, but he is, for all intents and purposes, dead.
Predisposed.
Yeah,
I love how it's just like you saw her smile at another man. Cheating whore! Oh no, they hugged. Fucking bitch! Obviously, the implication here is that he caught wife cheating. Or at least he thought he caught wife cheating.
yeah.
God, agony. Fuck. I really need to check out Dead Soul Tribe.
Yeah.
The last album they put out was in 2007. That sucks.
Wow, that's sad.
What's he doing now then? Wow.
He's in constant agony.
Yeah. Serves him right.
Yeah. He's in agony because his soul died.
That's if he ever had one to begin with, anyway.
Yeah. Well, he
Peter
said.
Daltrey, Kaleidoscope. Apparently, there was an uncredited cameo from Peter Daltrey.
Who's Peter Daughtry?
He's a lead singer for the bands Kaleidoscope and Fairfield Parlor.
Okay. Never heard of them.
And Kaleidoscope are an English psychedelic rock band from London that were active between 1967 and 1970.
Wow, that's old as fuck.
What about Fairfield Parlor? See, for the rest of the song, she's denying it, but here at the very end, she just straight up admits that it happened.
He's so good.
Who's that, Agony?
Yes.
Love wrecked you. I am the oldest friend you known. Damn. Love wrecked you. I feel that. Have you ever had love wreck you, Logan? I have.
Oh, repeatedly in many different places.
Yeah. In many different positions.
Yes.
So we are now on day 18, Realization. See, the album's almost over.
Yeah.
Only a few songs left.
Yeah. Of course, they're going to be the songs that are long as fuck, but okay.
Actually, I think only one of them is over 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so nope, none of them are. This one's 4
Okay.
minutes, the next one's 4 minutes, and the last one is 7 minutes.
Okay. Musically, do you think it's like we've heard enough of the album to where, well, I mean, actually, I guess to where like there's nothing really new to like evaluate and I could just rate it?
I would say that's probably fair. I mean, there is the ending, which I am positive you will hate. As okay, you know what? I'm going to
No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. All right, so I'll hold my tongue until the end. I can at least say this. Musically, this is a 10 out of 10 record. Story-wise, so far, it is about an 8.5 to a 9. I mean, especially with moments like this, it's easy to justify a high score for music. The musicality and the instrumentation of the entire record. I mean, the one song "Loser," I don't know if that necessarily works, but that's clearly just my opinion, and I'm clearly in the minority, and I'm clearly, wrong. But yeah, I have no idea where Tyler went, but it is still recording. This is why I don't like doing this by myself, um, because I kind of like having somebody to bounce off of. I'm adding him back. Pick up the damn phone, Tyler. I don't know what's going on. It must be something his end because my internet's just fine. I'm still recording. Again, I'm really liking the whole conflict of emotions all throughout this song. I don't want to end the video because I am enjoying this album so much. Again, I'm sorry for the dead air. I'm just listening to this because it is such a good album. Tyler should be coming back soon. Oh, there he is. I just needed to invite him. Okay. What the hell? I thought I. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It says
Tyler,
you're still recording.
yes, I am. I've been trying to carry the show without you with little success. Why does your internet have to be poor and terrible?
No idea. Okay, so do you want to just like cut this part out and then
No, it's not going to work because I've been listening to the record.
oh shit. I couldn't.
Whatever.
I stopped.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess you've heard this album before, so you can still kind of comment on it. I'm
Where
on
are
the
you at?
last song. They've
Okay.
like basically the wife's been kind of trying to reason with what is left of me.
Yeah, so it's revealed at some point that best friend and wife had an affair. They were cheating
Yeah,
on me with each other.
yeah.
And I don't remember if it's the last song or the song before. Me awakes and tells best friend about the betrayal in his workplace where he like sabotaged his career. And they kind of just all forgive each other and move on.
Basically, they just all agree that they're all assholes, and
Yeah, that's
okay.
basically what happens. And then where are you in the end song?
Uh, I'm at like a sort of instrumental part of it.
What's the time signature?
To reality. I think this is Reason singing Welcome to Reality.
Oh, yep. That's at the part at the very end when he wakes up from his coma.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see your reaction to the very end though, because I think you're gonna hate it. It kind of sucks I wasn't able to listen to the album,
With
but
me,
I
yeah.
don't I don't know what happened. The internet's still gone. Um,
Stupid
there could be an
Comcast or
outage
whatever
in
you
my
have.
area. I don't know if you told the viewers, but I'm calling on my phone right now. I'm sorry if it looks
Yeah,
kind of weird as a result.
I don't know if I did, but it's all good now. I don't have to as long as I don't have to try and carry the show by myself, I'm fine because I'm terrible at improv.
Yeah, me
You
too.
don't
I am
understand
not good at improv.
like you don't understand the entire like time you were gone, at least most of it was just radio silence.
Oh no. Are you sure we shouldn't cut this out and backtrack?
We can't do that. We can't,
Fuck it, we'll
unfortunately.
do it live.
Do it live. Fuck it.
Well, guys, technical difficulties, but honestly, let's be real. You probably haven't stuck around this long anyway.
Yeah.
Hour and 30 minutes in.
If you
Most
have
of the people who watch our channel only watch the first 3 minutes of these videos, so.
if you have stuck around this entire time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you've had to put up with us the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the cool thing about like the ending to me is that or at least this part of the ending is that it showcases that me has really developed as a person. He's realized where he's gone wrong and he's admitted to his wrongdoings. I mean, and all in all, it's his fault, right? He's the one who neglected his wife, made her feel unwanted, which made her want to find warmth in another person. And best friend needed warmth because he had no career because me sabotaged it.
Yeah.
So, in a sort of like twisted, ironic sort of way, me is the one who caused the affair to happen. If it weren't for him being a shitty person, it never would have happened. And he
How's that a
sort of
bad
realizes
ending? That's
this.
kind of like genius.
Yeah, just wait. You're gonna really fucking hate this. I can tell. Tell me where you are. Where are you in the song now?
The song just ended. There's like a robot voice.
Ah, yeah, this is the
Wait
part
a
that you'll
minute.
hate.
Wait a minute.
And it was all a simulation.
No. No. Why the fuck would they do that?
So from what I
bastard.
understand, they were trying. So the Ayreon band has sort of like a main storyline. I haven't heard these albums, so I can't like expand on it too much. But from what I understand, there's like a main storyline throughout these albums, and they wanted to tie it in somehow. So they kind of just slapped that on at the end to sort of remind you that it's taking place in that Ayreon universe. But you know what? In my head canon, it was real. It was all real. It was
I
not
mean,
a
that
simulation.
is
Fuck you.
asshole.
They do it in the theater show too. At the end, they shut it all down. They're like, ah, emotions. I remember now. Fuck you. You're not allowed to call it. No. I hate that so much. Is it enough to ruin the album for me? No, because I just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's not enough to ruin the album for me, but
3 out of 10.
wow.
7 points off because that sucks. It is not. I wanted to.
I am taking points off for that, though. I would say it is so musically it is still amazing. That
Yeah.
is undeniable. Story writing is a little bit hit or miss, and just the writing in general is a little bit hit or miss. Not even counting that part. Just just like all throughout. Um, I don't know. I would say overall it is a 9 out of 10.
That's fair, I think.
I think it could have been a 10 out of 10 if they would have cut some parts out. Um, I don't know, maybe reworked a little bit. And oh yeah, get rid of that bullshit about being a dream.
The first thing I said when this ended was, God damn it, it's Mario 2 all over again.
It's fucking no, the Wizard of Oz. That's the one that fucking started that bullshit.
The Wizard of Oz.
I
Yeah.
mean, Mario 2's allowed to do that because nobody gives a shit about the plot in a Mario game anyway. That's why it's been the same for the past, what, 35 years has it been? Yes.
Yeah, so from what I understand, like Ayreon's albums before this one are usually like sci-fi stories. I don't know exactly what that means because I haven't listened to those albums. I don't know what the stories are, but from what I understand, they're more sci-fi, like Battlefield Galactica or shit like that.
Battlestar Galactica, dumbass.
Yeah, whatever. I don't like sci-fi. Like, and people always like go on about how I'm a nerd and I must like Star Trek and Star Wars and whatever else. Honestly,
I'm a
not
nerd. I
really.
don't like it.
Not
I
really.
don't
I
even
don't
like.
like sci-fi.
I don't even like Star Wars. All those movies are like super goofy and all style, no substance.
Yeah, pretty much. I will say I do like Star Wars a little bit, but only because of the second movie. I would pretty
What?
much never watch the first one or the third one again, honestly.
Wait a second. You mean Attack of the Clones?
No. Oh, well, okay. Technically, it's like the sixth one, but whatever. Chronologically, it was the second movie to come out.
Okay, so like
Empire
Empire
Strikes
Strikes
Back.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only really
I
good
was
movie in the
worried for a
bunch, in my
second that like, oh yeah, the only Star Wars I liked was one of the prequels.
opinion. Okay, I'll admit I have a soft spot for Revenge of the Fallen, but only because it was one of the first
It's
movies I remember seeing in the theaters.
hey, guess what? It's Revenge of the Sith.
Whatever, you fuck. See, this is how much I don't care about Star Wars. And also the new movies are garbage. Like you thought the
Yeah.
prequels were bad, the new movies are way worse.
Episode 7 was pretty good. That was like the only good one.
The Force Awakens, yeah,
Yeah.
that one was all right, but the Last Jedi was garbage. What was the last one?
The Rise
Force
of Skywalkers.
Yeah, oh, that was so bad. I had so many problems with that fucking movie.
I
And
heard
at the
Han
end, the
Solo
villain
was
was like
alright.
deleted. Han Solo was killed in the first one,
I think
The
like
Force
the Han
Awakens.
Solo movie was alright.
Oh, no, it's terrible.
Okay.
In my opinion. Rogue One was all right.
No, Rogue One was the worst one I saw.
Really?
I just like
That robot pissed me off.
I saw Rogue One, and then like I refused to watch anything after that because I was like, no,
Honestly,
you've
yeah.
lost. You tentatively had my business before. Now you've lost it.
I will tell you though, The Mandalorian is shockingly good.
Yeah, I mean it's popular.
I watched like half of the first season. The only reason I didn't keep watching is because like I don't know, my fiance and I kind of like made it our thing, and then we just didn't watch it
Didn't make it
anymore.
your thing anymore.
Yeah, so we were waiting until a good time for us both to sit down and watch the whole thing. But
Yeah.
it was really fucking good from what I saw of it, and from what I understand, the rest of it's really good too. So
Yeah.
I would give it a shot if you have Disney Plus. Either way, I think we've rambled on long enough,
Yeah.
people. I'm hoping you enjoyed that album. I know I didn't even give my rating. Personally, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I don't quite think it's a perfect album, but I absolutely love what it did, and I really love the story and the premise of the story and like the emotions battling with one another. Like I really enjoy that part of the album. I think it's more so the parts involving best friend and wife that I'm not as big a fan of, which is
Same
why I
here.
take off half a point. So yeah, that's my rating, 9.5. But yeah, we have been the Audioholics Unite podcast.
I bid you audio do.
Bye bye.
Sorry.